Good morning. Hello. Well, I wanted to talk again about agoraphobia and back when I was afraid to leave the house. And during that time, I had compulsive fear and worry all the time, every day. And these were fears like Christmas. Christmas was maybe 6 months away, but I knew that I would have to leave the house. I would have to go and be with people. I loved these people, but it was so frightening for me. And I would worry about that. Or the eye test I had to take in 2 years to get my driver's license. I have essential tremor at the moment. Who knows, maybe tomorrow God's going to heal that. And I worried about being embarrassed doing that eye test. And I worried about having to go and do conferences with my kids' teachers. And maybe they were weeks away. It was just an all-consuming worry and fear about ever having to leave home. And so if this is something that you suffer from too, it's maddening, I know, because you don't want to do this, but the mind is just kind of consumed with this worry. And so when I went to counseling with Dr. Nash, he taught me that all these worries, I could worry about them, but I only had 30 minutes a day to worry. So whenever they would pop up, I would say to the worry, okay, I acknowledge you, and I would write it down, but I'm not going to worry now. I'll worry at 7 o'clock tonight. And then, ooh, a bee. And then another worry would come, and I would say, I acknowledge you. I write it down. I'll worry about you tonight. It was the greatest way to take control of the constant worries and fears that I had. Remember, we are the gatekeeper. We decide what we want to think about. And I did not want to think about worries and fears and what's going to happen tomorrow. I needed to concentrate on the moment. And it was so powerful to be able to finally control those worries. I really recommend that you do that if you too are sitting at home and worried and fearful about your life. You got to take it one step at a time. You take one little step at a time, and as you do this, you soon will be healed. Don't try and conquer the whole thing at once. And so 7 o'clock would come and I'd sit down to do my worry time. And it's funny because how do you sit down and worry? Because right at the moment you're not worried. And so it turned out that my worries were gone. I had captured them. I had written them down. And I told them I'll deal with you later. And pretty soon they just don't come around like they did before. Or if you do have a worry, then just worry about it during that half an hour. And then during the half an hour, as you're looking at the worry, picture the scenario different. Let's say my worry about going to Christmas and being with the whole family and all the chaos and everything. I learned to picture that scenario in a way that was favorable for me, that I had fun, I was laughing, I wasn't afraid, my head wasn't shaking, I wasn't startled, nobody came up behind me and I just jumped. Just see myself succeeding in this scenario. That's powerful to do that. So whatever fear that you have, see yourself conquering it. Just picture it over and over and over in your mind, that you're conquering your fear. That's extremely, extremely powerful. And all the time that I was dealing with all these different problems, I always asked why. Okay, I know I have all these things, but why do I have all these things? Now, I knew that the first 10 years of my life were blanked out, repressed. I didn't have memories. I knew my mom was paranoid schizophrenic, and she was very odd, but I hadn't remembered the sexual abuse from my father. That was locked away in my mind until I was 40 years old. And it came out when I was strong enough. So there's always a reason, there's a core issue for all these different symptoms. And in fact, with sexual abuse, there's over 100 different after effects that come from sexual abuse. And I had about 70 of those. And so I was kind of concentrating on diagnoses. I have agoraphobia, I have social phobia, I have chronic depression, I have anxiety, I have all these things, but I always asked why. Why do I have them? It's the underlying core issue that's important. And once I got into counseling, once I remembered the first 10 years, and once we started dissecting it and taking the whole ugly ball of garbage apart, I started to heal. That's what I had to see. And that was difficult, but it was the best thing that ever happened, because doctors had given me drugs and said, well, this is your answer. Back in the 70s, I was born in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. They didn't know what this problem was. They just had labels and drugs for the answer. And drugs didn't answer any of my questions. They just numbed me. One doctor even suggested alcohol, which was just absolutely crazy. He was a psychologist. But understanding where the root cause, that's where the healing is. And if you don't know, I suggest that you pray and you ask God to show you and to be with you as you're understanding the cause of your problem. It might not be anything like what I said mine was. Yours might be totally different. But understanding what it is and then working on that problem will make all the other after effects disappear. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And if this is helping you, I pray that you send me a comment that encourages me and tells me, okay, keep going. If I don't hear anything, it's like, okay, well, maybe I don't need to do this anymore. But if it's helping you, please let me know. And I hope that you like and subscribe, push the notification button, and just know I'm praying for you. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.